everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So here we are at the end of 2024, and we are already talking about new gun control legislation that has been filed for 2025. And these people have absolutely no shame. This new legislation was pre-filed on Christmas Eve. So I guess this is the Christmas present to everybody. This new bill, which is HB 1132, would limit how much ammunition you could get per month. It is absolutely absurd. There's a lot more to it. We're going to talk about it today, so let's get to it. Now, real quick before we get started, it seems like these days just simply defending yourself is a crime. How many times have you guys seen somebody on TV who defended themselves, but they were the ones that were on trial, or they were the ones that ended up in court? If you're somebody who carries to defend yourself or your loved ones, you guys need to have an attorneys on retainer membership. They are not an insurance company. These guys are attorneys who will defend you if you find the need to defend yourself. Now, with attorneys on retainer, you get plenty of benefits, but my favorite is the fact that if you call the number on the back of that card, should you find yourself in an incident, you actually speak to an attorney, giving you instant attorney-client privilege. This is a very important factor and a difference between some of the other companies that are operating out there today. So make sure you check out Attorneys on Retainer with the link down below. There'll be some discounts as well. With that being said, let's get to the video. Okay, so let's go and talk about HB 1132. So this is a perfect example of the slippery slope that we're always talking about, where you have a state that used to be very friendly to the Second Amendment, and then slowly but surely you see just one law after another continue to degrade that right until eventually the politicians of that state feel so emboldened that they feel like they can get away with pretty much whatever they want. And that's what 1132 does, because 1132 not only regulates how much ammunition you're allowed to get per month, but it also regulates the amount of firearms you can get per month. Now, 1132 comes to us from the state of Washington, which might not surprise some people who have seen just a steady stream of infringements that have been coming from that state over the past 5 or 10 years. Now, we do have the bill text, and the bill text gives us a lot more detail as to this whole firearms and ammunition rationing scheme. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so if you look up HB 1132 for 2025, you want to scroll down to Section 2. That's where everything gets started. It says New Section, Section 2. A new section is added to Chapter 9.41 RCW to read as follows. 1A. A dealer may not deliver more than one firearm to a purchaser or transferee within a 30-day period. So this is Washington's new 1 in 30 law, which a 3-judge panel just upheld an injunction for in California, and even Californians aren't subject to the 1 in 30 anymore, or at least for the time being they're not. B, a dealer may not deliver more than 100 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition or more than 1,000 rounds of any other caliber of ammunition to a purchaser or transferee within a 30-day period. So there's your ration right there for that. Subsection of this title, the section does not apply to any of the following. And then what it goes on to list is going to be, the standard stuff. Basically, this law is for you, but it's not for them. So, government officials, law enforcement, federal officials, federal law enforcement, security, that type of stuff, right? They're not going to be held to the same standard under this law that you, the private citizen who just wants to train or defend themselves, actually is. So this is very clearly a violation of your Second Amendment rights. Not only does it violate the plain text of the Second Amendment, but if we just take a look at the Supreme Court's decision in Bruin, and we take a look back from 1791, the ratification of the Second Amendment, up to the Reconstruction era, where the Supreme Court says that we have to find some type of analogous law that is somewhat similar to the law that they're enacting or have enacted today, there's no way that you can do that. You can't look back in time and find anywhere that a law was upheld that said it's okay for the government to ration how much you're allowed to have. It just simply doesn't exist. And that's why the 3-judge panel, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, upheld a district court's judge's injunction on the 1 in 30 law in California. Now, speaking of California's 1 in 30 law, that's currently sitting at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. One of the states that's covered by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just happens to be Washington. Now, this is the case of Nguyen v. Bonta, which has shown success all the way through the court system, and now is looking at a Ninth Circuit decision, which more than likely is going to land in our favor. So even if they manage to pass this law, it gets signed by the governor, there's a fairly good chance that the Ninth Circuit is going to overturn it fairly soon anyway. But Washington, not to be outdone, has put this little clause in there that says that if any one of these sections or subsections is found to be unconstitutional or gets overturned in some way, all other sections within the law remain in effect. That means if the 1 in 30 is overturned by the Ninth Circuit, that means that the ammunition rationing portion of that law in 1132 would still stand, or at least that's the way that I'm reading it right now. So if that happens, then we would still have a fight on our hands when it comes to the other types of rationing that Washington is looking to impose on people. But there's nothing, again, in our nation's history that has ever been like this. There's nothing that's ever been said where the government says you can only have this many lead balls, or you can only make so many lead balls at home, you can only do this much. Nothing like that has existed. So the government rationing out something that is expendable, right? These things are expendable. You use them, they're gone. So let's say you get something, you use it within the first day or two, it's gone. You have to now wait 28 more days before you can get some more. And in the meantime, those 28 days, you're left without any constitutional rights at all. You have no Second Amendment rights, at all, because you don't have anything that's useful. And so, again, this is just, it drives me nuts. It is a clear-cut violation of our constitutional rights, and yet they push it forward like it's no big deal. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. 1132, definitely look it up, read it for yourself, because that's what's coming to Washington come the next legislative session here in 2025, fairly soon. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Happy New Year. You guys take care.